Mahag Sar. That makes 4 out of the 5 realms that I've visited now.
I wonder what kind of lord we're gonna find there.
It doesn't matter. If they try to get in our way, we'll take them down and that'll be that.
Resonate with the earth!
Lightning condemned!
On your
Thunder
Here I
blade!
go! I'll take you all on!
I'm ready! Lightning condemned!
Where are you going?
If they rush you, you gotta jump for cover, okay?
Rising
Well,
Ember!
we're on the home stretch now.
Don't take your eyes off the prize.
I'm quite aware without you reminding me.
Just as well, I'm here to stop. Lightning condemned! Thunder blade! Sweet dreams!
Resonate with the earth!
So those are Dan and Astral Arts.
To me!
Something you want to say?
Not so long as you keep them pointed toward...
In an instant! Impact block!
I feel stronger. I mean, a bit.
Good. We're counting on you, Rinwell.
Hoo.
Ella.
On me? Well, I'll do my best.
Hoo.
Maybe. Something's going on in the forest.
Discourteous,
Lightning
aren't you?
condemned!
Here I come! Take it! Crush! Catapult! Double demon bang!
I'm all
Crush!
set up!
I'm not done!
Dance in the wind! And
Here
here
I come!
goes!
You're finished!
Lunar corruption!
Crush!
Now!
Didn't even break a sweat.
I think I'll try to make that new recipe with this.
All right, but I'll decide how spicy it is.
This will be a delicious
in
piece
pain.
of cake! Here I
Take
go!
this!
Got lightning condemned!
Elusive deity! I shall ensure you survive this! Try this! Take this! You picked the wrong fight! We did it!
These little ones are hardly worth our time.
Less talking, more pummeling.
Thanks,
Rip
Kisara!
them apart to your heart's content.
It's
Lightning
gone!
condemned! Thunder
Double
blade!
blade! Does it hurt? Double demon bang! A victory for the ages.
A fish! You saw it too, right?
I didn't realize there was a pond here.
Yeah, this is Taka Pond. And it happened to have saved my life once upon a time.
What do you mean?
As a kid, I survived life under the past lords by escaping here when I needed to. It's terrible to swim in, but great for catching a bite for dinner away from Renin eyes. Bear in mind, our rations back then weren't enough to live off of. You had to take matters into your own hands if you wanted enough food to survive.
But how did you catch them? With your bare hands?
That might take a while. Fish are prone to swim away at the first sign of trouble. I'd put bait or a lure on a line and use it with a fishing rod. You must not be familiar with fishing if this sounds new to you. Here, let me show you how it's done.
Hey, what do you think about that spot?
Good idea. I'll go for that one. All right. Anybody could reel in that.
Not too shabby, friend.
I've got something. Well, it's not bad, per se.
Maybe you could keep it as a pet.
And that's all there is to it.
Wow. It seems like you need to have good reflexes to catch anything. I don't know if it's really for me. Kisara? I think I've seen enough.
Oh, sorry. I guess I'm just in my own little world when I go fishing.
Looks like we're going to be here for a while.
That's how fishing goes. You wait for a bite, and then the real battle begins. Miguel told me that different fish live in different regions, and you have to pick the right rod and lure for what you're hoping to catch.
But that doesn't change the fact it's a giant time sink.
Of course, each fish has its own unique flavor, too. And some of them are supposed to be extremely delicious.
When you put it like that, maybe it's worth me trying my hand at fishing after all.
You're just in it for the food.
I was hoping we'd get to fish during our travels. And it just so happens I made sure to grab my brother's old rod before I left Vicente. So, if you ever feel like fishing when we've got a little downtime, just let me know.
Good to hear. Thanks for showing us. Okay!
I'm always amazed what healing arts can do.
Just doing my job. No need to thank me.
Hey. Is it just me, or have those two barely spoken a single word to one another?
I know, right? But after everything that happened with Miguel, is it really any wonder?
Kinda puts a damper on the whole journey though, huh? How long do you think they're gonna keep this up?
If it bothers you that much, why don't you ask them?
Why do I have to ask?
How come you walk together like that?
She really doesn't beat around the bush.
You mean Kisara and myself?
You hadn't noticed? You've been practically joined at the hip ever since we left Vicente.
I guess it's force of habit, most likely. I was always ready to protect him, should the need arise. It sort of came with the job description.
Right. From being in the Elder Menancia Guard. Although, Dohalim's pretty capable of defending himself, isn't he?
Having guards doesn't necessarily mean the one being guarded is weak. No one's perfect all the time.
Even so, it's not like they're entirely wrong, Kisara. You're no longer in my employ, after all.
I don't know. I mean, if it's what she's used to and you're both comfortable with it, then who are we to judge?
But she doesn't serve him anymore. It isn't normal for her to keep following him around like she still does.
You know, she's probably right. And a lot has changed over the last few days. I guess it wouldn't hurt to rethink our relationship in light of the new circumstances. Perhaps I'll give it some thought after all. Does that sound all right by you?
Of course.
You might want to stop asking his permission for every little thing while you're at it.
Sorry. It's not that easy, shaking off old habits. I'll probably need a little time to get fully used to it. I've noticed that sometimes we come across enemies who fight like you, and try to dodge our attacks at the last second.
I hate those guys. I can get some hits in when they move into attack, but otherwise they slip past damn near everything else I throw at them.
If what you're seeking is a way to more reliably hit them, there is a solution.
Try to outclass them on reflexes?
I possess the ability to command Earth elemental beings to some extent. They emerge as the land itself and take root on my command. They will swiftly bind the enemies, at which point you can dispatch them.
Huh?
What he means is that he can make plants grow to hold the enemies in place. At least I think that's probably what he's saying.
I'm glad at least one of us understands him. So basically, if we find an enemy that likes to dodge, we should let Dohalim handle it.
I shall do what I can within my modest means to help.
Why are you looking at me like that?
That armor you wear is standard issue for the Menancian Guard, right?
Originally, I've added some flair to it in a lot of places.
I noticed, especially with that open back.
We guardsmen pride ourselves on never showing our back to our enemies. It's my way of making myself live up to that. Plus, it makes it that much lighter and easier to maintain.
Dohalim, do you have anything to say about this?
Every guardsman is allowed to wear their armor as they see fit.
And you, La?
Huh? Why are you asking me? This is perfect! I'll have everybody's mouths watering when they see this!
Kisara, let's talk for a bit.
Sorry for rambling on so much about my past earlier.
Don't sweat it. It was fun hearing you reminisce about the good old days.
Come on, you don't have to pretend with me. I know I can tend to go on sometimes, when it comes to my brother.
You said it, not me. Anyway, I don't think it's something for you to be embarrassed about.
Hey, Alphen. When you were a kid, was there ever a time when you had to bury someone younger than you?
Well, it's hard to say. I'm guessing that you have, though.
Yeah. During the previous crown contest, with the Lord before Dohalim. Life back then was truly hell. I think that's why I tried to ignore what Miguel was telling me for so long. Because I was afraid of going back to such a dark time, of losing hope. I wanted to believe in our paradise so much that I doubted the one person I should have trusted most. I don't blame blame Dohalim for that. I simply didn't want to face facts. And I ended up trying to project my ideals onto everyone else.
It's strange. Whenever you and Dohalim talk about Menancia, it's always like it's some big failure. We're talking about fixing 300 years worth of damage here. Isn't it a bit optimistic to think it was all going to be resolved after only 5?
You might be right. Maybe it was a mistake when Menancia... No. When I decided to stop seeing the darkness in our society. I have to admit the truth. To myself, first of all. I'll take watch tonight. It's okay. Before we go, do you guys have everything?
Something feels odd here. Be on your guard.
I just noticed none of you other Danans have spirit cores. Why is that?
Both of my parents were part of the resistance in Colaglia. In fact, my birth was kept a secret from the Renans.
Mine too. We always lived in hiding, so I never had a spirit core embedded in me like I was supposed to.
What about you, Alphen? You were a slave in Colaglia before all this, weren't you?
To be completely honest, I'm not sure why I don't have one. All the other Danan slaves around me did. I was the only exception. They tended to keep their distance from me to avoid attracting any attention from the soldiers, because of my mask and all. What about you, Kisara? Do you still have your spirit core?
No. I was able to find a good Renan doctor who's sympathetic to our kind, and had them remove it before I left. They did such a great job, the procedure didn't even leave a scar.
One of the benefits of coexistence, huh?
I know that once the spirit vessel was shut down, there wasn't much need for me to hurry. But still, I didn't like having that mark of servitude lingering on me any longer than I had to. It may sound a little strange to hear me say this, but I'm just me now. Not a guardsman or a slave. I'm my own woman. And this is my chance to have a new beginning.
This sure is one rugged road. You'd think they'd keep this at least a little better maintained, right?
Why spend energy fixing that which is rarely used? Repairs require time and effort, which in our world means slaves, often in great numbers. For you, it may be a simple request, but that can quickly become another's difficult burden. Nobody gains anything without someone expending effort.
And you know, somehow that someone always ends up being a Danan, while the Renans are the ones who gain.
True enough. Ideally, in a perfect world, I think it's only fair that the ones who need it should be the ones to perform the work.
However, when doing so could be dangerous like it is here, there are many who would prefer that it be others who risk their lives in their stead.
So, what you're saying is that people will just put up with the inconvenience until someone else comes along to fix it for them?
Indeed. And it is those who can no longer bear that feeling that inevitably take action. Much like the Danans in our group do so now. As strange as it may be to hear such a thing from the likes of myself.
It's true that most of the Danans in Colaglia have been resigned to just accepting things as they are. Still, we can't just blame them for...
What are you making that face for? You're not worn out already, are you?
Nah, just regretting I ever said anything in the first place.
Don't get careless!
Don't tell me!
You picked the wrong fight!
Resonate with you!
See, I'm also good with airborne targets.
Stay calm. I shall provide assistance.
Flying freaks!
What can't they just sit still?
Seahawks, can you take care of them?
No sooner said than done.
You're finished!
We've turned the tables on him.
There are still more left.
Right, no time to hold back. Eternal devastation!
Resonate with the earth! Mirage Mine! This will begin! Does it hurt?
This one's all
Begin!
Burning strike!
I'll face you! How's
Wait
this?
now. I wonder if we can make new weapons with this.
All right. There's nowhere to run from my heart.
When he slows down, that's our chance!
Annihilation! It's like trying to keep up with the
Thank
wall.
you.
Here! Raging cascade!
Sonic thrust!
I'll face you.
Alpha!
Here!
Prepare to be sealed. Can't get out of this. Tornado Blast. No further.
Annihilation!
I'm not done!
Dance in the wind!
Take this.
In here!
Tornado Drive.
I'll be saving this one!
Elusive
Just mine.
deity.
Here's a healing arc!
Sword Rain
First
Alpha!
In
aid!
a bind.
Here's a healing arc! Supernova! Whoa!
Can you take it?
When it is hot!
Not so fast.
Power of water!
It's over!
Eternal
devastation!
Take this.
Sleep
Here
now!
I come!
All tucked away!
Eternal devastation!
Raging cascade! Glacial spear! Here's the evil! Lightning orb! Banana! Let's go!
In a bind.
Flare tornado!
Come on.
Do it!
River!
Astral energy!
Say no more! Shut!
Well done! I'm only getting once and
Shattering Melody.
Got some interesting moves there, Dohalim. I'm glad you're on our side.
I'm simply glad to hear that I can make myself useful to you all. Huh?
What's wrong?
We seem to have come across some rather unusual objects.
What, you mean that pile of garbage?
No mere garbage, I assure you. Still, I've never seen anything shaped like it before. I'm intrigued.
Are you curious about this stuff, Rinwell?
yeah. I think he might have found some old Danon relics. They look like the remains of a bunch of objects that disappeared after the Renans first invaded.
And yet here I am, holding them without so much as a second thought. I imagine the sight must be unsettling to you.
Not really, just that it must be nice to be a Renan who has time to indulge in stuff like that, unlike the rest of us.
Are you interested in this stuff too, Dohalim?
Charmed may be a better turn of phrase. I simply love objects that can give me a sense of what their maker was thinking, the history that went into their creation. You see, we Renans have hardly any such objects that trace back to our distant past.
I still don't understand what you two find so intriguing about it, though.
Why not? We're talking about our own culture here.
I get that, but it's not like this stuff is any use now, does it? It's just old. Real old.
Oh, but it does. Holding it in your hands like this, one can feel and engage with the distant past in a way no history book can ever accomplish.
I'll take your word for it. Well, seeing as it's Danon history, just make sure you're careful with it. All right, Dohalim?
But of course.
I sense a strange power from this.
This should come in handy when crafting weapons.
Visibility along this path will remain limited for some time. Take care not to get ambushed.
I'm surprised you know the terrain here so well. Lords don't strike me as having much time for wandering in the woods.
Sometimes I would take strolls along here when I wished to be alone.
You always did have a bad habit of disappearing without telling any of us guardsmen.
Don't get careless!
Nothing gets by me!
Don't tell me!
Now we're not...
It's over!
Airborne beast! My step!
I'm not done!
Where are you going?
You got flyers!
I've
Not
got it!
today!
Let a marksman handle it!
In an instant! Impact Claw! We work well together.
like a finely timed waltz.
Don't mind if I do!
You're finished!
Can't get out of this!
Hear me! Flame of fury!
You attack without mercy. Not against the worthy opponent.
Your power is a spectacle to behold.
I'm not trying to be dramatic with it.
Still, it's a part of you.
Only the best materials in your garments.
You really do have quite the discerning eye, Dohalim.
Yeah, they all kind of look the same to me.
It's so hilly around here. I can feel my feet getting blisters.
That's... mountain hiking for you. It can be pretty tough if you're not used to these sorts of trails.
I take it you're comfortable with them then?
Oh yeah. We used to run up and down these slopes all the time for our training exercises.
Damn. You weren't messing around.
This one's tough, but we have no choice.
Let me know if you need healing.
Here I come! You're finished!
It's a duel of the arts.
Come and face me!
Being interrupted.
It's over!
Pesky airborne scoundrels.
Sounds like a shot for your
Just like you.
Shut him down! Here I come!
I never miss.
Strike! Try harder! Here I come!
You're dead. Prepare. Tonight's meal is on you.
You got it. Nick.
Flare tornado. Unstoppable annihilation. Blast dance in the wind.
Eternal
Here
devastation!
goes. Get on in there with the enemy. Flame of fury. Burning strike. Glacial spear. Here's evil.
Strike! Try harder!
Freeze laser.
Now we're not...
You're mine!
Can't get out of this!
Thunder field.
You're mine!
Searing empty. Cover the catcher. Lightning condemn.
Thank you.
Here I come! Ignite!
We're on the home stretch now.
Don't take your eyes off the prize.
I'm quite aware without you reminding me.
I'm ready! It's Kisara! Commander of Heaven!
Phoenix Cyclone! I know fine weapon material when I see it.
too.
We'll soon see about that.
Begin!
I'm only getting started.
Rest you require a hand.
Glacial Spear. Pierce evil.
Lightning Flash!
Light action.
We're going pretty hard in this battle.
I am not usually given to
Here
restraint.
Sometimes I believe you're stronger than you let on.
Here's the
Here I come!
Lightning
Crush!
Flash. Confiscated.
Glacial Spear.
You're mine!
Pierce evil.
Do it!
This ends now.
Consider yourself finished!
See you continue on in that vein.
Yes, my lady.
Something you wanted to say? I need to be stronger.
Brace yourselves! This one's tough! Come one, come all!
Where are you going?
You're mine!
Resonate
with the earth! This one's all mine!
I will.
Here I come! Eat dirt!
Flare tornado. Searing
Eternal
flame.
devastation!
Do it.
You're mine!
This ends now.
Consider yourself finished!
See you continue on in that vein.
Leave the enemy's arch to me.
Something you wanted to say?
Place here!
Lunar corruption. Cover the cast. Lunar blast.
That extra training paid off.
Out of our way. Searing tempest.
Leave the agile ones to me.
Not on my watch. Freeze laser.
Regenerate! Allow me to help.
Lightning
It's
orb.
over!
Is that a healing art?
It is. I can't ignore your pain.
I'll try to be more careful.
It's in the sky.
Regenerate!
Leave the ensnaring to me.
Yeah!
Where are you going? Raging cascade.
You pick the wrong
Now.
fight!
Can you take it?
Astral energy.
Say no more! Got it!
Well done. Reload.
Take this!
Light reload. Surrounding us. Searing tempest. Sweet dream.
Your power is a spectacle to behold.
I can feel my power growing!
We got some good equipment!
I can't say its appearance is to my tastes, personally.
More Danon ruins here too, I see.
What were people even thinking back then? Trying to build anything around here.
Maybe they just had that much time and energy on their hands.
I'll take that.
This one will be difficult to predict.
Glacial spear. Here's the evil.
Be still!
Freeze lancer. Radiant flame. Sleep now.
You're mine!
Into the
It's over! Eternal devastation!
Take this!
Your field.
I shall ensure you survive this.
Sleep now. Not in your dreams. This one's mine.
Win!
Fiercely.
Devastation! I'm ready!
Lightning
Kisara! Commander of Heaven!
Phoenix Cyclone. Sear blade.
Lightning Bird! Air Pressure! Take this!
With this, I can become even stronger.
I sure have built up a sweat with this hike.
Rest assured, we have reached the top. It's all downhill from here, quite literally.
So Mahag Sar's just up ahead then?
Indeed. If you look, across this mountain is the Lord's Keep.
What's this place here? Some kind of old house?
Little help!
Damn it!
Searing tempest!
In a bind?
Sword Rain Alpha!
I'll
I
thank you.
never miss! Take this! There!
Here I come!
Dance in the wind! Air thrust!
Elusive
Lightning! Searing tempest! Anathema
Begin!
shield!
Here I come!
Tornado!
Eternal devastation!
Can you take it? Come on!
Hands in the wind!
I'll thank you.
I'm out of ammo! Wanted!
I'll take you
You're
before.
mine! I'm not done!
Hear me! Flame
You're
of fury! Burning strike! Leave now! Let's get you all tucked away! Photon flash!
Hold up! Is this... Is this valuable as I think it is?
How long has it been since I last went this hungry?
Little help! Thunder!
Eternal devastation!
Where are you going? Searing flame! Reload! Here's a healing arc! Not in your dreams! First aid! Lightning condemned! Now! This ends now!
Consider yourself finished!
See you continue on in that vein.
Yes, my lady?
Something you wanted to say?
Eternal devastation!
Raging
No further!
It's over!
seal!
Can you take it?
It's all coming handy!
I'm practically unstoppable.
Little marksman handle this! This one's mine! Lightning orb!
Negative here I come!
Seal!
No escape! Eternal devastation! Here I come! You're finished! Crush!
Mega ray!
Damn it! Too fast!
Stand back. I'll trip it up.
Crush!
Engage! Supernova! Grind and rest! This one's mine! Do it! Kisara! Frozen!
Hammer!
It's on!
Here's the
Radiant light!
Lightning
Eat dirt!
orb!
Regeneration!
Orb
Take this!
shield!
You're
Not
finished!
on my watch!
Allow me to help.
Lightning orb!
You're finished!
Like
Eternal
Hands
devastation!
in the wind!
I'm ready!
Air thrust! This ends now!
Consider yourself finished!
See you continue on in that vein.
My lady?
Something you wanted to say? Well then, let's keep moving.
This might be some decent equipment.
Anything that makes battles easier is okay by me.
Through these lands most verdant green, my eyes alight for sights unseen. In Menancia, pure and pristine.
What is it you see exactly?
That's not for me to say.
I forgot to look before I leaped.
I've got a really bad feeling about this. Burning
In a bind?
It's on! Destruction!
Pesky airborne scoundrel!
Sounds like a job for yours truly.
My turn!
Get on me now. This ends now.
Consider yourself finished!
See you continue on in that vein. Something you wanted to say?
No complaints from me.
Dispose of the trash. Searing tempest.
Elusive deity! Here I come! Eating pile driver!
Steel. Ardent
Resonate with
Light
the
astral energy.
Crush!
This one's mine.
Got fire!
I've got these and let art to me.
No, all yours!
Do it. This ends now.
Consider yourself finished!
See you continue on in that vein.
Yes, my lady?
Something you wanted to say?
We did it! Now! Take this!
Hey, what did it
Come here! Eternal devastation! Ignite!
On your This one's mine. Now!
Demons descend! Flashing fang!
I can feel my precision improving.
Still thinking about how to act around Dohalim?
That obvious, huh? Except I don't think I'll be changing much after all. Don't get me wrong, I'm not going to stay his servant. However, I am going to treat him like a fellow comrade, the same way I would with you or anyone else. For as long as I can remember, I've spent my life protecting others. But isn't that what friends do too? Support and protect one another in times of need?
Which in the end pretty much means doing as you've always done, right? If that's what you're most comfortable with, I'm certainly not going to give you any grief over it.
Actually, I've been thinking about how I ought to act around you all as well.
Oh?
When I set out on this journey, it was to rid Eldomenencia of its enemies and search for wisdom in the outside world. Wisdom that I could potentially put to use on my return. I'm grateful to you all for letting me tag along. But it got me thinking, what am I actually contributing by being here?
What are you talking about? You know how to hold a weapon, don't you? That's help enough.
Is it though? Sometimes I wish there was more I could be doing to pull my...
Oops, sorry about that. Jeez, I'm famished.
Now that you mention it, what do you guys normally do for food and meals when you're out and about on your travels?
What do you mean, what do we do? We find stuff to eat and eat it. So long as it's meat, I'm not fussy.
Eating what you like can be good for morale in the short term, but you need to think about your diet if you want to stay healthy.
Does that mean eating vegetables too?
Isn't that obvious?
It does, which I guess hasn't been happening up till now.
Yeah, to be honest, we could be eating better than we do.
Understood. In that case,
Like you'll be eating.
What is it?
It's just... I was just wondering if you had any thoughts on all this.
It will do her good to have a project.
No, not Kisara. I meant you. Was there anything you wanted to add?
Me? Certainly you're not looking to me for culinary skill, I hope.
Typical Renan, leaving everything to someone else.
Rinwell, I don't think...
That said, should you need my skills on the battlefield, please rest assured I have no intention of shirking my responsibilities, regardless of who we may face.
I'm sure no one doubts that. Listen, guys, if we're traveling together, we should probably at least try to make an effort to get to know one another, don't you think?
I wouldn't get your expectations too high in that regard. Believe it or not, sometimes I'm not sure I even know myself all that well.
Something wrong? You look like you're deep in thought.
Not exactly. I was merely thinking about you two and your sense of etiquette.
Oh?
Etiquette?
Indeed. To be quite frank, I find your lack of manners to be nigh intolerable.
That's not being frank, that's being and forget it. Do we really need to talk about this now?
Yes, I find such impropriety on your parts to be deeply unsettling. It concerns me greatly.
What do you want us to do? We were slaves. We never got to learn how to be proper like you.
Yeah, what he said. Maybe you missed how we were just focused on surviving.
Perhaps, but Kisara here demonstrates that it's quite possible for a Denon to learn proper manners.
That's because I was given the opportunity to learn. Moreover, my duties as a guardsman required it. Not every realm is like Menencia, as you well know.
Yeah, I don't think it's fair to hold us to some other city standards.
Exactly. You've got to remember what it's been like for us living under the Rena elsewhere.
I will concede that you do indeed make a valid point. It would appear, for all my espousing the virtues of equality between our peoples, I was still looking down on the two of you.
You don't need to beat yourself up. I wasn't that offended by what you said, man.
Nevertheless, I shall mind my words from here on out. Having said that, I do believe you two would still benefit from learning the basics of proper society. I would be more than happy to teach you both when we camp out, if you like.
Yeah, no, I'll pass. Acting all prim and proper isn't really my style.
If you say so. How about you, Law? Would you like to learn? Although I suppose my first task is to reform your attitude toward the idea of good etiquette.
You're not gonna let this go, are you?